Well, New Japan Pro Wrestling has come back to the US after who knows. They haven't set foot here other than having New Japan Strong. We had one hell of amazing event, Resurgence, with great matches, surprises, and all this other stuff. But also, I was unable to watch AAA due to the fact that it happened around the same time, but that will be in the upcoming episode, which is after this one. But however, I decided, you know what? I'm going to throw in a past event by Yoshi Promotion Ice Ribbon just to keep things a little interesting, but this episode will be short. So, let's get started with another episode of the Leader Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host, Jay, right here. So let's begin with the latest New Japan Pro Wrestling event that took place today on in Resurgence in LA for the Torch Coliseum, which is a very historic venue. Let's go with the first match all the way to the finish. The opening match is the Alex Coughlin Challenge. Alex Coughlin has been putting himself in a position where he has to challenge anybody to step foot. This time he had to face his former LA Dojo mate, and of course, one of the more of the graduates of the LA Dojo, the Alpha Wolf, Carl Fredericks. I have to say the match was pretty good because we're seeing how Alex Coughlin was a little behind. If you guys don't know this, he was injured. I think it was last year, but he came back this year. But now he is trying to catch up with where everybody else. As you know, Carl Fredericks graduated from the LA Dojo about 2 years ago, and now this year we had Clark Connors who graduated. But the match was pretty good, and I have to say it was pretty amazing, of course. But of course, in this advantage, Carl Fredericks won because he is a bit more advanced than Alex Coughlin. That's how it plays out. But it was a pretty good match, I have to say. Yes, not the best, but a pretty good one. Next up, we got a trios match. We have Ren Narita teaming up with a former recent LA Dojo graduate, Clark Connors, and original LA Dojo student, TJP, taking on Wheeler Yuta, Rocky Romero, and Fred Rosser. I have to say, this match was pretty good. I wasn't expecting a whole lot because every time I see Ren Narita, I always think of him that he was the weakest link. But during his time with the LA Dojo has changed him, made him stronger, and now he pulled off the most unbelievable upset. He actually pinned Rocky Romero to win this match. But however, he has his hands full with Fred Rosser, who wants a piece of him. So Ren Narita is ready for a fight. And New Japan, make it happen, please. I want to see Ren Narita face Fred Rosser. I want to see what he can do against a veteran like him. Next up, we got a 10-man tag team match. We have, of course, Team Filthy, consistent of Danny Limelight, Royce Isaacs, Jarrell Nelson, Kratos, and Tom Lawler taking on Yuya Umrah, Adrian Quest, Fred Yehi, Big Daddy, Chris Dickinson, and of course Leo Rush. The match was any way as possible. Like you can tell, it was going back and forth between both teams, who was dominant. Now Team Filthy has been trying to prove they are now the new dominant force. Like they're trying to run Bullet Club's money, claiming they're more badasses than them. But however, I think the biggest surprise that it was Yuya Umrah, who is the young lion in the New Japan Dojo in Japan, was able to pin Danny Limelight the 1, 2, 3, and that was it. But however, that wasn't the end of it. He stayed in the ring giving out a little promo. And he said he wants to get stronger and better. And once again, when you hear that word, stronger and better, if you're if you step foot in LA, there's only one man who will answer that call, and that man is Katseboy. Let's just call him Shibata. Let's just name him Shibata. So Shibata shows up and tells him, "Come with me," and that's exactly what he did. So now it appears Yuya Umura is now on excursion to the LA dojo, and Ren Narita, who was previously on excursion, he will be heading back to Japan soon. But I'm assuming that he may have a few more matches left while he's still in LA before going back to Japan. The next match we have Hakuleo taking on Juice Robinson. Now this match was set because of the events that took place in New Japan Strong the Road to Summer Struggle. As you know, Hakuleo wanted a much better competition, and the person who answered that was, of course, none other than the flamboyant Juice Robinson. I have to say, it was a pretty good darn match. Now, I was in the back of my mind looking at Hakuleo. He's a 6'8" guy. You know, he's a beast. He's a monster that he was gonna crush Juice Robinson. But somehow, Juice Robinson was able to pull up an upset against a big guy like him. So he pinned him with the 1-2-3, but the party was cut short until Hakuleo chokeslammed him through the mat. Now the real question is this going to be a feud between both these guys? Well, I don't know, but I get the feeling we might see part 2 sometime soon, or in a few months. I don't know, but we'll see what happens then. Now, this match, I have to say, it had no story. It had nothing. But however, this match was unbelievably good. It's Tomoe Ishii taking on Moose. I was so impressed with this match completely. You look at Moose, he's tall as hell. If you look at him, Tomoe Ishii, small guy, but don't let the size fool you. Ishii put himself to the test to face a guy like Tomoe Ishii. Like Tomoe Ishii actually is not afraid of anything. No matter how hard you hit him, he'll hit you back. I was so impressed with this match. I have to say this is one of my favorite matches of the night. But I think part of me was thinking Moose is gonna win this one, because I would be surprised if somewhere down the line New Japan would like to bring him over to, to Japan for some competition. I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up for the G1 climax, but I have to say Ishii pulled it off pretty nicely, winning this match. But it was a good match. I give it a 10. Now, after the match, we received a surprise visit from the Commonwealth Kingpin and the leader of the United Empire, Will Ospreay. Now, we haven't seen him in 4 months due to the fact that he was injured after his match against Shingo Takagi. Now, he made it perfectly clear he is not involved in the G1 or he's going to Japan. But he does have a beef with the man that put him out and the same man that actually beat him for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. I'm talking about the Last Dragon, Shingo Takagi. However, he believes that Shingo is not the real champion that he is. It turns out that he has a title resembled him. So he said that sooner or later they have to call Shingo the interim IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now, however, this kind of makes me think who we have seen did something like this, something similar, who calls himself the real champion. Oh, that's right, I mentioned his name before. Moose. He did the same thing, but except the only difference is he took the TNA World Heavyweight title from storage to proclaim himself as the real world champion. That is what Will Ospreay is doing. So he thinks he's the real champion. However, he now made perfectly clear he's going to stay in US to participate in New Japan Strong because he feels the LA Dojo are unreliable, calling them a bunch of pussies. But apparently, two graduates are not happy with that, and I'm talking about the Alpha Wolf, Carl Fredericks, and of course the Rhino, Clark Connors. They took offense to that. However, original LA Dojo student TJP was trying to calm them down, but Will Ospreay pissed him off by calling him a babysitter because TJP has recently been training some some of the wrestlers down in the LA Dojo along with Shibata. But however, Will Ospreay will not tolerate. He even made reference to AEW, believing that Kenny will not obtain his title. I mean, he will because he's a belt collector. That's what he does. But we'll see what happens then, and hopefully New Japan will say, nope, Will Ospreay is not the real world champion. Shingo is, and I wouldn't be surprised if he challenged, what's his name, Tom Lawler for the Strong Openweight title, which is the prestige title in New Japan Strong. Now, the next match is a tag team match. We got the Good Brothers taking on Jon Moxley and a surprise partner of his choosing. Now, it was still undetermined who was going to be his partner. Now, originally it was supposed to be Shota Umino, or as he calls him, Shooter. However, Shota Umino was on excursion in the UK involving himself in the Ref Pro promotion, was unable to make the flight to be here in the States to participate in this match to call themselves the Death Riders. However, because of that, they're still dealing with the COVID restrictions. He was unable to do it. But his surprise partner was the man that he fought while he was retaining the IWGP United States title, and that is Yuji Nagata. I was surprised. It was a really interesting match, real fun. But however, I didn't feel like it was too excitement. I mean, Yuji Nagata, there's no doubt in my mind he's a legend. But I think they were going through a different story where the Good Brothers are trying to determine they still got it. They are the most dominant tag team. And they pulled off a Magic Killer twice on Moxley on a chair and Yuji Nagata. So they actually pinned Nagata to win this match. However, they were trying to throw out a promo. They were trying to shut them down. But however, they received a surprise appearance from their former Bullet Club members, once friends, Tama Tonga and Tangaloa, better known as Gorillas of Destiny or GOD. That to me is going to be interesting. Now you ask yourselves, why did they show up? They will not tolerate Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows appearing in New Japan, believing that they are the ones that walked out on them. They can spin a great story with it. I can guarantee you that. But Carl Anderson and of course Doc Gallows will not fight them. They believe that they will welcome them with open arms. But however, Tama Tonga will not, because they will not tolerate the fact that the Good Brothers are aligned themselves with Kenny Omega, the one person they do not want to associate themselves with. Now, our main event is the never openweight title between David Finlay and Jay White. That match was unbelievably good. I have to say it was one of the most amazing matches where you can see Jay White still trying to prove he is the best that he is, that no one can beat him. And that's what he was doing until he pulled off the switchblade on Finlay to ensure they win. So he retained the never openweight title, but however, Tomoe Ishii showed up and decides that he wants to be the one to challenge him, but Jay White refuses because he has beaten him once before. So the real question remains, what's going to happen now? Are we going to see Tomoe Ishii face off Jay White for the title? Well, we'll just wait and see when we get there. Now, but oh yeah, I forgot. He even made reference to Impact, AEW, or any ring that he wants, he will continue to be dominant. And I have to say it was pretty interesting that he made references of that. Now our main event is for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship between the Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi and Lance Archer, who is the current champion. And this match was amazing. Now, you would have assumed Lance Archer was going to win it because he's a big monster. They call him the Murder Hawk. You would have imagined, oh, he's going to win this one, retain it. But this is one title I believe that Tanahashi has never held. I know he was reluctant not to win the never openweight title, but he did it anyway. So he now it was is facing to become the first ever Japanese uh, to hold the United States title. Kenta even tried to do that, but he failed miserably. Same thing with Nagata. And I'm trying to remember if there was any other people, but no, it didn't happen. It was Tanahashi that did the belly flop on him, and he pinned him 1, 2, 3. But the promo was the best. How Tanahashi was given respect by Lance Archer that he would like to challenge him once more, but this time he wants it in a AEW ring, and that I know for a fact it would be one hell of a match. And I have to say, Resurgence, it's a pretty good show. I'm glad I got to see it. So I think that's pretty much it for that. Alrighty. So the last thing I'm going to review is from a Joshi promotion by Ice Ribbon. The event is called New Ice Ribbon number 1121 at the 176 box. I'm assuming that's the name of the venue. Uh, it was a pretty good event, but it started out kind of weird. Like originally, we were supposed to have for the opening match a tag team match. It was Yuki Machino teaming with a freelancer Hiroyo Matsumoto. However, um, Machino decided to challenge Matsumoto in a singles match before the start of the tag team match, and I don't know what Machino was thinking, but she lost miserably under 24 seconds. So it was kind of crazy, but of course, she got stumped by both the opponents of the tag team match, both Maika Osaki and Tsukushi Uraka and Haruka, and it's Matsumoto was just watching. I don't know what she was thinking, but however, she did get back in the game trying to win the match, but however, it wasn't enough because, as you know or don't know, Yuki Machino can be sometimes the weakest link when it comes to teaming with her, but she also is a strong wrestler. But there are times she's the weakest link, and they always target her for that, and that's why she tapped out completely in the match, losing miserably. So basically, that's how it plays out in a good match on this one. This next match is the match between members of the Joint Army. We got Matsuya Uno taking on Tae Humna. This match was good. There's a lot of grappling in this one because these girls, if you don't know, they come out wearing their gis. You know, those type of things you wear when you learn martial arts. That's what they do. That's why they call themselves the Joint Army. They throw in a bit of the martial arts status into their fighting. And I have to say, these two played it pretty well. I have to say, it was a good match. But however, there had to be a winner, and I did not expected it. But it was Tai Hamna who won, very impressively. Now it would have been Matsuya Uno, but however, Tamna won. Um, she was really impressive. Now the next match is this one is for the Triangle Ribbon title in a three-way match. We got Ibuki Oshi, her sister, Amuko Hoshi taking on the crazy Tekla. Now this match went in every way possible. Now you would have assumed, will the Oshi sisters team? Well, they did, and then they fought. You know, it depends on how they played out. But however, do not count out Tekla because sometimes if Tekla is thrown out, she'll take that as advantage until someone is taken out and she'll take advantage of it. But however, she put Ibuki in a submission hold forcing her to tap out and allowing her to retain the Triangle Ribbon title. Next match, we got Miko Aoino, and of course, taking on Maya um, Yukihi. It was a good match, I have to say. Really impressive in its form. I was like, wow, okay. I'm not too pumped, but it was good. I was paying attention a whole lot. But however, it was Yukihi who actually pulled off the 1-2-3 on Aono. It was pretty good. It was good, not the best, but it was good. Now we get a trios match. We got first team Akane Fujita, Mochi Miyagi, and Rina Yamashita taking on Iragi um, Kurumi, Risa Sera, and Suzu Suzuki. This match was so insane. Now, they had both teams are amazing. I seen what these girls can do either as a singles or tag team, but however, I was surprised that it was Zuzu that picked up the victory for her team. I know she's been through hell with the seven match trials of death matches that she's been involved, but she pulled it off. So basically, her involvement in death matches paid off pretty well to allow her to win the matches. So she's getting back to her winning ways. Now the final match is for the Ice Infinity title between Totoro Suzuki and Tsukasa Fujimoto. Now, Suzuki is a huge individual. You wouldn't imagine the kind of pain that Fujimoto had to endure in order to retain the title because she's a much bigger individual. But Fujimoto didn't quit in whatsoever, but she pulled it off pretty well. I have to say, she really impressed me with her skills and, of course, being the champion that she is. So she pinned her really nicely and she stayed down for the 1-2-3. So Fujimoto actually retained the title, but she did put out a promo. Now, I'm going to guess that she gave her respect that she deserves. You know, she has been really impressive, but however, I have that feeling that her next challenger just made her appearance, and that is, of course, Joint Army's Tae Hamna. She appears like she wants to challenge her for the title, but the real question is, will Fujimoto actually accept it? If she did, then make it happen. And if it already did happen, I haven't reviewed it yet, but I'll get there when I get there, and hopefully I'll catch up with all the ice ribbons I can find on Watch Pro Wrestling. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I'm sorry I had to keep it short because I was a bit more stuck over the situation with New Japan Resurgence and AAA. Uh, I will review that one on the following episode, and I may throw in another episode just for all of you. But keep in mind, I'm also going to be on my podcast soon. There's a lot of great topics I want to talk about. I mean, the first one will be the debut of AEW Rampage. Also, going to be talking about the situation that's been going on with WWE, where now they're calling Triple H the scapegoat and all this other stuff. And of course, I got some interesting things about two factions that I'm a fan of, but they will all be in a podcast. Now, however, if you guys haven't seen my podcast, it's DWZ podcast with J Rod, so you can follow me there. And I believe I have many distributions that if you guys want to hear my voice, here are the distributions where I'm actually doing all of this. So let's see where we at with that. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you can follow me on my podcast either on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. So um, I'll be in either they'll be distributing for that for the upcoming podcast. Like I said, there'll be some great topics on that. So hope you guys get to hear my voice on that. But as for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.